One of my quick and easy meals is Shoyu chicken. It's really quick because I can use the Instapot. You can even use frozen chicken. So join me today on Cooking Made Easy with June and I'll show you how to make it. This really easy recipe is brought to you by Macy's, the happy shopping store in Spanish Fork. Hello everybody, Spanish Fork. Welcome to Cooking Made Easy with June, and today I'm so excited about the recipe. I know I'm excited about a lot of recipes, but this one is such a classic. It's called Shoyu chicken. So Shoyu is actually a Japanese word meaning soy. Japanese is a type of Japanese soy sauce. It's called Shoyu. But if you think about it, it's actually influenced. There's a lot of Japanese food, cuisine influence in Hawaii. We have a lot of Hawaiian Japanese individuals, and are actually, I've had it before, but then one of our friends who's married to a Hawaiian guy made it a lot because it's so easy and quick and so delicious. So what we do is we basically start off with, I'm going to use an Instapot. So you can actually use a regular pot or actually a crock pot even, and put your chicken in and add everything and dump it all in here, and then go from there. But I have made it on an Instapot before with frozen chicken. So if you're in a hurry and you're just like, oh my gosh, what do I make? And you have frozen thighs, just throw it in there and all the sauce and start the pot. So what we do is we start, I didn't want to start with chicken. I did not want to have raw chicken sitting on the countertop, so I decided to set it to the side. But basically it's 4 to 5 pounds of chicken, or you could add more or less, you know, ishy, because this recipe is very flexible in that way. So then we just add the chicken in here, and then we just make the sauce. So we just basically have a cup, which is a cup of soy, a cup of water, and a cup of brown sugar. So we have a cup of soy, and I'll go ahead and add a cup of water here. And then I'm going to add a cup of brown sugar. Look at my cute little new pots. Every time we like to go vacation in the summers in the East Coast, and I love to just walk around, and this I found in Charleston, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love these cups, and I don't have many cups, but I had to get rid of other ones. I have to keep these, so we don't have any clutter. So basically, it's coppery. I'm going to add a cup of brown sugar, and you do not have to pack it, so it's really pretty approximate. I'm just going to lightly pack it. Now, you can also use just white sugar. So really, you can just use white sugar and it tastes great too. I've done it with both, okay? So we add the sugar, and then I'm going to move this down a little bit. I'm going to chop a couple cloves of garlic. As you know, we just smash and chop, and I don't measure the garlic. You can have 2 or 3 cloves and that'll be just fine. Well, this one was, garlic's been in the fridge, so I couldn't smash it. Okay, so when you smash it, again, it just peels it off. Honestly, this is a small garlic, so I'm not even gonna chop it. I'm just gonna throw it in there. So let's do a couple more. Okay, there we go. So when you have it in the fridge, it's a little bit like that. And if you get a little bit of peeling in it, that's okay also, because it'll be more like a soupy type flavor. So I think that's good. About 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, approximately a tablespoon. It'll go a long ways, the flavor of garlic. And then we grate some ginger. Now, I've also made it without ginger because I didn't have any ginger, and it tastes great. So, but I love that extra little, but it does change the flavor a little bit. So I would still add some ginger if you have ginger. And I prefer fresh ginger. If you do not have fresh ginger, I would utilize the dry ginger, and just maybe like a teaspoon instead of that one. So again, you don't necessarily have to zest it, but I mean grate it, but you can do slices if you don't have a grater. Or you can chop it, but I wouldn't spend too much time with it. So that's going to be about a tablespoon of ginger. And I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to go ahead and stir. So I've had I know that I've had when you serving a lot of people, when you're cooking for a lot of people, this is awesome. So if you have a last minute company, just throw in your frozen chicken into the pot. Okay, so I'm just going to liberally stir the sauce. Some recipes call for you to make the sauce first and pour it on top, but I'm one for the less pot, the better. The less dirty dishes, the better, right? I love the smell of that soy. Okay. So that's it. I'm going to stick it into my Instapot. Like that. And I'm going to push it on, I know you can't see it right now, but I'm going to just push the soup option. Okay, so I'm going to turn it here. So I'm just going to push on the soup/broth option. Now different Instapots are different, so because it's really soupy, so you just have to decide. So it's about 30 minutes of high pressure, but it actually comes to much quicker than that with the censoring and everything. So I'm going to push that and it'll start. There, it's on. Okay, so now, how easy is that? Before you start making your chicken, just throw in some rice into your rice cooker or start your rice. Okay, so all right, now we're going to take a little break, and when you come back, I'm going to show you how to make a quick side dish, which could be for almost anything. So come back. All right, welcome back. We are going to now make a side dish that it's just basically roasted vegetables, because during the season, I mean, who does not have fresh zucchini and squash on hand from their garden? So I'm going to just do a slicing type. I'm going to cut it into slices like that. And I want to say it's about an 1/8 inch thick, and you don't have to get too stressed about it. You don't want it. You can have it thicker or not, but I like it a little bit thin. Maybe an 1/8 inch is what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to just toss that into the bowl. And I'll just keep it like that. Well, oh, that's going to be a tough one. That's okay. All right, so that's some zucchini. Look at how fresh it is. I'm so excited. Boy, these cameramen got lucky today. We had some zucchini from the garden. Nothing can beat that, right, guys? So you can use, of course, any vegetable. Some people in Japan, or if you want to be traditional, they do what's called a tempura, where they deep fry, have a light coating and a crispy coating, and they deep fry the vegetables, and they serve it with a lot of their meals, like with rice and soy and things like that. And so, or also you can serve some pickled cucumbers, which is all it is you just slice up some fresh cucumbers and you soak it into some rice vinegar. Okay, that's my rice pot. So I'll just cut this into about this size. It's going to be so pretty, and it's going to be so yummy. Okay. All right. There's the yellow. So you have yellow and green. And then we'll put a few onions in there in a second. Okay, that's it. Of course, you can make smaller sticks if you'd like, but I just wanted to, I think it's going to look really pretty when you plate it, making big chunks. So again, the onion, I'm going to just make big chunks of onion. So I cut each end off. This is the easiest way to peel onion. And honestly, this piece is going to be really chewy, so you don't need to have that anyway. So then you just peel off that first tiny layer and this layer right here. See how it's like that? It's not crunchy. So, and then I'm just going to chunk it out like that. And then I will just spread it apart. So we just want, you know, it would be yummy too if you have some fresh garden tomatoes, because not only yummy, but because of the colors. If you have some red tomatoes in here, that'd be really, really pretty. But I don't have any tomatoes today, so I'm just gonna do this. So I'm gonna just separate them into individual pieces, so that way we mostly want the flavor, but aesthetically it just looks great. Okay, so that's it. So now I'm just gonna toss some olive oil onto this this mixture, just like maybe, depending on how much, of course, just not too much, just like that, because we're going to toss it. And then sprinkle a little sugar, salt and pepper. So just a light coat, and you can always add, but you can't take away, so don't make it too salty. So that might be about a half teaspoon to maybe, and I love pepper, and it's really pretty too, so maybe half of, whatever you use for the salt, you use about half of that. Unless, of course, you love pepper, so watch out for the slices that you haven't cut all the way. So I'm just going to toss it together, whoops. And if it wasn't on camera, I'd pick it up, rinse it off, and put it back in. Hey, the whatever second rule. Everything, look at these fresh pieces here. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna rinse that off. Okay, so then I love my large roasting pan. I just love it big. And so, oh my gosh, I forgot to put these little bit of onions in here. It's fine, we'll just put it in here. Don't wanna. Okay, so I'm just going to pour it over here. Okay, and I want it to be a little tiny bit crispy, so I'm gonna make it a single layer. I got this pan at Sam's, I think, Club, and but I just love it because it's big. It's a little bit bigger than a regular sheet pan. If you don't have one of these, you could use a rack and put it on the sheet pan, or if you don't even have a rack, you can just put the parchment paper on it. And I'm gonna separate that and then just leave it like that. So look at how lovely that is. Okay, and that's it. I'm gonna stick it in the oven for about 10 minutes at 450 degrees. And then it's gonna be ready to add to your meal. Okay, so come back though, because we have the chicken ready. Hello, welcome back to Cooking Made Easy with June. And we have our chicken ready in the crock pot. Now again, like I said before, you can also cook it just in a pot and just cover it and just boil or simmer it, or a crock pot. That would be really, really good. So I don't think you can really overcook this chicken if you cook it on low. And what I did was in the sake of time, I actually put it on high pressure for 10 minutes. So I think if you put it on high pressure for 10 minutes and then let it naturally cool down, and it'll be ready. So mine is, I kind of forced the ending, even though it's still cooked and it could be cooked a little longer. It's cooked, but what I mean is it's cooked, but it is not, I think I would have cooked it a little bit longer, but it's not cooked to where it could be more tender. Does that make sense? So if I had cooked it a little bit longer and let the pressure in, but it's still done, okay? So I just wanted to show you that. It's so good, it smells amazing. So I can't wait to serve this. Okay, so I made the rice, and I love my little nifty rice cooker, but I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the rice onto our plating, and lots of sweet, okay, talking about rice. Okay, there's all kinds of rice. Some of you may already know. But I've come, ever since I went, my dad was in the military, ever since I lived in Japan, I've come to love the short grain rice. I know I'm Thai and I should be loving the jasmine, which is amazing also, and it smells great. And jasmine rice, honestly, is perfect for like making fried rice, because when it cools down, it's a little bit more dry, and it's perfect for fried rice. But the Japanese rice is a short grain rice. That's the difference. And it's a little bit more moist, and it sticks together. And they use the higher quality short grain rice for sushi. And so then you would flavor the rice, and it sticks together and makes a delicious sushi. So, but I'm just going to, so I normally use a lot of short grain rice for my eating now. So I have that, and I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken on here. So when I got it out, I'm going to stir it a little bit more let's go ahead and add this chicken. So you notice that some of this chicken, the fat is still on there, and what I like to do is when you cook it longer, like in a crock pot or longer, it'll take the fat off and the flavor will be even more in the sauce. But this is still great. This is still so yummy, and I can't wait for you guys to, well, you can't taste it. I always say, give me a virtual thing. They've got virtual so many things that I don't know why we can't get a virtual smelling TV going on, right? So you can smell all the deliciousness. That's not a really pretty piece, but that's okay. So I'll put a few pieces on there. And I'm going to go ahead and flavor the rice with some of this sauce. So if you're serving your crowd, you can add a little flavor. And there's some garlic pieces, which is so good. Now the only downside, of course, this is this kind of a bland color, but that's okay. We're gonna add our beautiful zucchini, roasted zucchini in just a second, so I'm gonna put in there. All right. So you can also chop some green onions. It would look great for a garnish. So I'm gonna put that there. I'm going to go and grab my roasted zucchini or roasted vegetables. Ooh, look at that. Look at how the onions are caramelized. It's so beautiful. So I'm gonna use the same tongs with just cooked veggies and put that on there. Look at those pretty big pieces of onion. I love it. I would probably cook this a little bit less. But what happened was it was finished in about 10 minutes and then I left it in the oven. I should have timed it, but it'd still be good. So I would have liked to have these vegetables to be a little bit less cooked. That's my preference. Some of you may like it like this. So let's put all the vegetables on there. Oh, I wish you guys were here. You can smell. You know, honestly, the way we enjoy food, you need to enjoy all of your senses. Use all of your senses. The visual part, so I'm gonna put a little bit of roasted onion there. And your smelling senses, your visual, your eyes. And I love to hear the sound of steam and stir fry. It's awesome. So we can bring everything to you through Spanish Fork 17, except through the taste and the smell. We can't bring you the taste and the smell. So, okay, let me grab a little bit here and have a taste. So actually, I don't want to make it look, ruin that. So I'm going to add a little bit of rice on mine. And grab a few veggies here. Oops. And I'll add some chicken from here. A little piece of chicken. And let's put some sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and taste this chicken. Mmm. A little hot right now, I couldn't talk. But even though I did do a little shortcut, the chicken is still really tender. And like I said, I've done it before with frozen, so you see, with the frozen chicken. I'm gonna add a little pepper. And now with the frozen chicken, you do have a tiny bit, a little different texture because it just cooks it really quick on high pressure. So it's a little bit more dense, but it's still so good. So I'm just gonna add some pepper here. That's a pretty garnish. And pepper, I love pepper. Let me taste my veggie. Like I said, if you keep the veggie simple, simple the better. And then my rice. So good. So simple, so clean. You guys will love this recipe. It's so easy to make. So, shoyu chicken, say shoyu. It's a type of Japanese soy sauce. Make it on the crock pot or Instapot. I guarantee you're gonna be making this every week for your family. So until next time on Cooking Made Easy with June, have a happy cooking day.